Do it. You scrolled on this video to do it.
Alright, so boom, wagwan bro, right? Welcome back to another installment of edutainment. Place where you're laughing, being entertained, but most importantly, where you're learning something that you can apply to your own personal life and make it better. How you lot doing today? Say it with me. I'm doing more, saying less, and keeping that same energy. No cap.
No cap.
No cap.
No cap. No
cap.
No cap.
No cap.
No cap.
No cap.
So, money, credit, and romantic relationships. Many people in the world have gotten all three intertangled and gotten lost in the sauce. Could you be next?
Okay, so we can have a conversation about it. Without further ado,
So this girl said this guy went with her to the nail salon to get her nails done, and she said he paid with his credit card, and she was embarrassed.
Huh? Say it again?
That
I'm trying to, let me translate
he
this.
took her to the nail salon to get her nails done, and he paid with a credit card, and she said she was embarrassed.
Something wrong with her.
yeah, shout out to my man right over here. There's something wrong with her. First of all, so notice what he said. The guy took the girl to the nail salon. First of all, if he's taking you out somewhere, and no matter how he's paying, what are you embarrassed about? It's a weird choice of words that helps me understand where your mindset is at. You understand what I'm saying? Like, instead of asking the man a question of, hey, why do you always pay things on credit as opposed to cash? And instead you say that you are embarrassed, and then you tell your homegirl, right? That to me means that you probably have a lack of financial sense as well as a lower integrity, in my opinion, without knowing you, if you're watching this video. You understand what I'm saying? But let's move on.
Like, we don't carry cash.
She's like, but then that's the thing. That's why I waited for you to say that. She's like, damn, you couldn't even use a debit card.
Oh, she's in the way. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Yo, this is 100% in the way. I don't even use that debit card. I do have a debit card, but I don't even use a debit card.
But I'm not gonna lie to you. I look at that. I don't trust men that put everything on their credit card. Because I feel like you're trying to look like you got it and you don't got it. Like, that's how I feel.
Really?
Yes, I do not, because
I do feel like people in general, this is how people get into credit card debt, right? They don't keep track of the balance on their credit. For many people, or not for many people, but at least for the average person, they may have more money available to them in their credit than they have available in maybe their savings or in their checking account.
Cut for you.
Let me tell you something, sweetheart. I don't know how y'all do shit where you from, but let me tell you something. Where I'm from, we don't do shit like that.
Right? You have $5,000 credit, but then your checking account is only maybe you and I have probably been there, you know? Negative, insufficient funds in our checking account.
You ever get so broke that the bank starts charging you money for not having enough money? That's fucking broke, man. Bank called me up, they're like, hi, we're calling because you don't have enough money. I'm like, I know. She's like, sir, you have insufficient funds. Well, that's a good way to put it too. I agree with that. I find my funds to be grossly insufficient. You ever have negative money? That's depressing, isn't it? You look at your bank account, negative $10. That's how much I have now. Negative 10. That means I don't even have no money now. I wish I did. I wish I didn't have anything. I wish I just had nothing, but I have less than that. I don't have none. I have not 10. I can't, if it's free, I can't fucking afford it. Somebody could come up to me, take this, it's free. Fuck, that costs nothing. I can't afford that. That's more than I have.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, okay, there are some people that do use their credit card willy-nilly and don't understand the financial ramifications of overspending and not being able to pay it back come the due date. A very basic pro tip in terms of like credit card usage is to not use more than 30% of your credit card. Only will you be seen as more reliable to lend to by the bank, but you will also allowing yourself to have that buffer room to pay in full. Imagine having a $5,000 credit limit and you only have maybe $2,000 in your checking account. But if you only use 30% of your $5,000 limit, you'll be able to pay that money back, right? This is how me myself got into credit card debt. This is more for business. Essentially, I assumed I would get a profit back, but I didn't end up getting money back. And then I ended up not being able to pay the credit card, and it gets sent to collections, and etc., etc. So essentially, the basic premise is, does he have the money for it in his checking account? Okay, so there's no problem with him using his debit or credit card. If he does not have the money for that purchase already in his checking account, then he is definitely flexing or trying to make it seem that he's at a certain level when he's not.
Lil Tay out here balling in the IA. I dropped 200 racks on this car, and I'm only 9 years old. I got the keys to this car. See this? These are butterfly wings. Y'all haven't seen this car in your lives. I've been driving this around the Beverly Hills area, and I'm only 9 years old.
The thing is, I be telling everybody, I'm not no credit card type of bitch. I be using my debit card. That's why when certain people do certain shit, I'm like, okay, Miss Credit Card, because I definitely use my debit, and I have to make that money back. Like, I'm not paying for it $25 payments a month like your ass. So I'm like, it's a two different lifestyles. You can live a credit card lifestyle or a debit life. I live a debit, and it's a hard life, but I do it.
I'm not a credit card type of... Oh, all right. Gather around. Let's have a conversation. Let me tell you guys something from my personal experiences. I only use credit cards. I only use credit cards. All right? Only. Right? I don't use cash. I mean, what's the point of... I keep $20 in my pocket just to have, because my pops always used to say that, you know, he's way more old school. Always keep money with you. Da, 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 da. You know what I'm saying? And so I always keep like at least a 20 in cash in my pocket just in case of some weird emergency situation. But I'm always paying with my credit card. I barely pay with my debit card. Here's the reason why I pay with my credit card, right? Number one, I never revolve a balance. I always pay my total amount. I always pay it off at the end of the month. Well, what does this give me? Well, this gives me a consistently high credit score, credit rating. Right now, I am way above 800. Right? When I bought this card statement, he was like, shit, I've never seen one that high. But that's because since the age of 18 to right now being 35, I have never revolved the balance, but I've only been using my personal credit card for purchases. Okay, so now I'm in good credit standing. Now, when I walk into the mortgage office or I walk into the cell phone office, they look at the track record that I have and the conversation changes. You understand what I'm saying? Like I walk into a phone place and they look at my credit report and be like, shit, you can open up the maximum amount of lines because of your credit history. Okay, so understand that is that there is some benefits in swiping with the card, but here's the other benefit as well. You get rewards. Okay, so you're paying, right? You're swiping the credit card, and what the credit card company is banking on you doing is revolving a debt so they can take advantage of the interest rate that's on the credit card. That's how they're making their money. Well, the majority of their money. They also make money from something that's called an interchange fee, right? So every time that you swipe that card, that provider that has that, you know, kiosk that takes that card gets charged a fee that goes directly to the credit card company. That's called an interchange fee, okay? So I swipe my cards. It is on my credit card, and I just pay it off. I probably pay my credit card off like 2-3 times per month. Every time that I go up and I check my accounts, I'll just go up and just pay it all off at that given time. But then I get the rewards attached to it. Right now on my credit card, I have a 1% cash back and then a 5% cash back on the same credit card for specialized purchases. And I forget the category of things that I have to purchase it into. So that's 1% back and 5% back on a subset of the purchases that I make. So what does that mean? Well, if I accumulate, like, let's say $10,000, that's $100 that I get back free. And there's no additional charge to me. Meanwhile, if I swipe my debit card, I don't have those same rewards.
I do understand that. That's definitely the basic premise. Credit card companies don't care about you. They care about the money that they can make off of you. So they're banking on you not being able to pay the credit card. I think just a basic framework for most people should be, do I have the money for this purchase? Because a lot of people, like I did, you get lost in the sauce. You think, oh, money's coming in. Let me use my credit card and I'll see the money coming eventually. But if you don't even have okay, let me just talk about this part right here, right? Honestly, I feel like most people should not be using a credit card if they don't have a significant amount of money in their savings account. At least, at the very minimum, you have at least 2 months worth of expenses covered. At the very minimum.
Oh my God! Wow! Oh my God!
Okay, that means you have at least, if your rent is $1,000, you have at least maybe $2,000 plus maybe food and stuff, $3,000 left in your savings account. And then you'll be more financially responsible to use a credit card. Because the financial discipline that it takes to have a savings account prepares you to use a credit card. But a lot of people, they'll have the credit card and they think money's coming in. Maybe all of a sudden they lose their job or an emergency occurs. Now they can't pay their credit card. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So look at your savings. Okay, look at my savings accounts. Okay, do I currently have, let's say, 2 months worth of expenses covered, or at least I would say 3 months, but just to start off, 2 months. Okay, do I have 2 months worth of expenses covered? No. Let me stop using my credit card for a little bit. Let me buckle down, get this $2,000 saved up, and now I'm prepared to be financially responsible with my credit card. And usually, when I go about buying stuff, I always ask myself, like, this is a basic framework in my mind. Okay, when I buy this, am I making more money by buying this? If I buy it now, do I save more money in the long run? Or by buying this, do I just lose money? Is it just a depreciating asset? Like, takeout, for the most part, it's gone within the day or within the next morning, leftovers. And having that framework in mind will help you not overspend or spend too much. And another one is, how long would it take me to make this money back? If this product is worth 10 hours of your life, sure, do it. If you don't think it's worth 10 hours of your life, your hard-earned hours of work, then don't buy it. And you'll find yourself low-key becoming a minimalist and not needing as much stuff at home.
What I'm saying? Here's another thing as well. Right now, so when you swipe a credit card, you are using the credit card company's money, right? So let's say that there's fraud on a credit card. Well, it doesn't touch you. It doesn't touch your account, all right? It touches the credit card company. It touches them, all right? It doesn't touch you. So you can use a credit card as a line of defense, because it's no skin off my teeth. If someone swipes my credit card, I'll just call in and be like, listen, this wasn't a swipe from me. Can you take this off of my account? And best believe that the credit card company is more inclined to do that because it's their money. When it's your debit card, it's got a lot better in the recent years. But when it's your debit card, there's a lot more hoops that you have to throw into, and it's your money. You understand what I'm saying? So use it as a safeguard as well, all right? Let's keep on going on in this video and see if there's anything else that we can glean out of this. And listen, to the dude who swiped the credit card and then the girl was like, she felt embarrassed. You have to remove yourself from a situation, or if you feel like she is worthy of your time, teach a little bit, right? And hopefully you are not revolving a credit card and you really are broke and you swiping things that you cannot pay for in the future. Either educate her, and if she's not in the right mind to educate, then move on from that situation. But I'll tell you right now, if the word choice that she used was embarrassed to describe that situation, she's got a far road to go. Let's move on.
All right, so now let me just say this with all due respect. This is the difference between people who understand finance and people who don't understand finance. Those who, everybody that has it, right, and understand finance, I'm a licensed financial advisor, we using the credit card. That's what you use. Not only that, what you do, the reason why, let me give you Finance 101, the reason why you want to use your credit card, because you want to establish something. If you got the cash, only thing you're doing is you just swiping with your credit card. When that bill rolls, when it goes through, all right, when you get the bill, you just take your cash that you have in your checking account, and then you pay off your credit card. Period. So these is the things you develop in a relationship, huh? Not the minimum payment either. No, no, you got to listen. Okay. Not the minimum payment. You're right. Not the minimum payment. So this is the difference between now you're establishing a relationship. So then now, within 2 to 3, I don't even say 6 months, between 2 to 3 months, when they see this type of transaction going and they see that you pay majority off on your credit card, then now you can ask for a credit increase. You can do that every 3 to 6 months. This is the type of conversations that we need to have. I'm not using debit cards. First of all, and let me just say this, would you look at me differently if I told you that I don't even have a personal account?
I will say this as well. I have not asked for a credit increase since the first time that I got a credit card way back into the day. And here's the thing. It is a strategy to raise your credit score is to ask for a credit increase, because one thing that they look at is your credit available limit to debt ratio as a key factor in determining what your credit score is. So in other words, the more credit that you have, but the less that you're using reflects positively on your credit score. But
this is why I always say, I've learned 30% is a good mark, right? Not only will you be able to have that good credit to credit availability range, but also for you personally, you won't overspend on money that you don't have at the moment, right?
Mine is already high, so I'm just like, there's no reason to do it. And you know, my credit limit right now, I'm never gonna reach up to there because I would never spend that amount of money within a given month.
This is the thing you develop in a relationship, huh? Not the minimum payment either. No, no, you got to listen. Not the minimum payment. You're right. Not the minimum payment.
Here's the last thing, is he said, Don't pay the minimum payment, and I 100% agree with him. Never just pay the minimum payment. Fact of the matter is that, guys, listen, if you don't have the money to pay for something, do not use your credit card. Ever. Ever. Only when you can pay for the material good, that's when you put it on your credit. Unless, here's the thing. If it's an investment into yourself, right, and you don't have the money whatsoever, it's like an educational investment, like a certification, and you don't have it, but you are guaranteed that you'll be able to make that money back in a certain amount of time, that's probably one of the only situations. Or if like your car breaks down or your meat.
The only time you should use your credit card for a business venture is if there's already a proven process in place. This thing's already making me more money. Now I'm just using my credit card to accelerate the process, right? For me personally, like when I got into credit card debt, I was banking on the hope that this business would make me my money back. And in fact, I lost money during my Amazon FBA thing, right? I expected to get $1,000 back, but because I lost profit, I ended up only getting about $500 back. And right away, you could see how you could get into credit card debt. So do I have the money for it? Okay, I'll buy it. If I don't have the money for it, let me have the money first in my checking account before I make this purchase. And if you are currently in credit card debt, you just, for whatever reason, you should not be putting your emergency expenses on a credit card, okay? Let me just add that little tidbit in there. You should not be putting your emergency expenses on a credit card, because most likely if it's an emergency, you probably don't have the money for it, because if you had the money for it, you'd already use it, right? Unless you do, because I'm banking on the fact that most people don't have a robust savings account. This is why I was saying before, having a savings account built up before you go willy-nilly on a credit card or use a credit card prepares you to use it properly, right? At least 2 or 3 months worth of expenses covered in your savings account. That means when your car breaks down or something happens at home, you have the money right on hand to pay for it. And if you do use a credit card, you can instantly transfer this money into savings to the credit card and pay it off. But if you have your car breaks down and use your credit card for it, and you have the money in savings, where's the money coming from, right? This is an unexpected emergency, and now you get into that cycle of credit card debt, and the bank is making money off of you. So, in terms of getting out of credit card debt, arguably the fastest ways are either doing debt consolidation or credit card debt settlement. And I have a whole video on how that works and how to do that properly right here. Watch that video right here. And while you're here, if you are someone who's trying to get an apartment or trying to find a living accommodation with bad credit or an eviction on your record, I have a whole video on how to use Airbnb as low-key your apartment in a sense, right? Watch those videos right here. As always, if it doesn't feed you, don't water it. And too much of any good thing is good for nothing. How are you lot doing today? Say it with me. I'm doing more, saying less, and keeping that same energy. No cap. Flip the script. I'm out. Deuces.
The women weren't feeling us. Now they all want to get familiar. Popping. Word on the streets, I'm popping. Bad B made the us go pop. Cause the pockets filled up with profit. Can't come round flashing all your jewels, my you will take man's chains and watches. Pop it. I see it, I want it, I cop it.